In one of my previous videos, I've demonstrated for you guys the Appetite Burst, and I liked it so much I decided that I wanna check out other Slash covers, and look at what I got, the Vermillion Burst. I'm gonna try and see if they are really the same guitar, just in a different cover.
First real Les Paul that I ever had was a black standard, and I think it was a refin, and I bought it on Sunset Boulevard at this little shop, and so it was black and it had bumblebee yellow binding, and it was really cool. But it was exciting to have a guitar that actually said Gibson on the headstock. You know, you have a lot of sort of basic electric guitar brands, you know, that have been around for a long time. And the Gibson Les Paul is, you know, like one of the all-time iconic guitars. I was drawn to Les Paul from the very get-go. So I would think probably because I didn't really know that much when I first started about which guitar sounded like what. I think I was probably drawn to the shape of it first. And then I started noticing that certain guitar players that whose music I really liked played that guitar, and it's just always been the instrument that I was the most comfortable with. And I've done trial and error with everything, you know, over the years early on, and I always ended up back at Gibson and the Les Paul. You know, I've been working with Gibson for a lot of years and done a lot of signature models and stuff, but this is the first batch of guitars that is part of the USA collection, which is really nice to finally have, you know, arrived at that place. The custom shop models are very exclusive. They're pretty expensive and they're very specific. So it's nice to be able to do something with the USA, which is, you know, they're still top of the line guitars, but they're USA, they're a little bit more accessible and more affordable, and they're top quality. But not such that it's a limited edition, one style, one model, kind of a, you know, quick run. This is something that'll be there for a long time. The AAA top is just one of the nicest maple tops that you can get, you know. So what we want to do with all the USA guitars is get them to be as high quality as possible. Appetite Burst is influenced by a custom shop, Appetite for Destruction Les Paul, that we put out a few years back, limited edition. And it was basically based on this guitar that I recorded Appetite for Destruction with. So this is basically that same guitar in a USA format. The November Rain guitar was actually Cesar's idea. You know, he has a Tobacco Sunburst, and he'd seen me do he'd seen the November Rain video where I used a vintage Tobacco Burst for that particular song. The Vermillion is just, I want to say it's an Italian word for a type of red. And we just think it's a great name for this color. And the Anaconda Burst is that deep green kind of thing, because I'm a big fan of Anaconda snakes. So I wanted to do a guitar with Gibson that had this, you know, sort of rich green or emerald color to it, and call it the Anaconda. Yeah. The neck profile is a C profile, and it's, you know, I think it's what I've become over the years most comfortable with. Thin tapered necks, I've had a couple, and I mean, I can adapt to them, but I think I'm most comfortable with a C neck. And then as far as pickups are concerned, the ones that I've been using for years and years have been Alnico 2 pickups, and they're about medium output. They don't have too much gain, and they're not obviously jazz pickups. They're not too clean. So there's just a nice, honest guitar sound, electric guitar sound. I probably first picked up a J45 at Guitar Center back in 1981, something like that. It's just my favorite basic dreadnought Gibson acoustic. I've never been super into the big jumbos and, I'm not really into the real minis. So this is just sort of very plain, simple dreadnought. This Vermillion finish was something that we put together for the Les Paul and thought it would just be nice to do on an acoustic. And it ended up turning out really nice.
Back in 2022, the Slash collection was introduced, and here is the Gibson website with the new Slash collection. I've already reviewed most of the Epiphones from that collection, but here are the Gibsons. In the beginning there was the Slash Les Paul Standard in 2 finishes, the November Burst and the Appetite, and 2 limited covers for 2020, the Vermillion and the Anaconda. Slash also did an acoustic which was inspired by the Vermillion cover for the electric. It is a pretty cool finish and it has a cool name, the Vermillion Burst. It retailed for $3,000 and it came in 2 finishes, the Anaconda Burst and the Vermillion, which I'm gonna demonstrate for you today. It is a unique finish that you don't see on a lot of guitars, especially not on Les Paul standards. You think of a standard, you're thinking about cherry sunburst, tobacco sunburst and stuff like that. The unique thing about the burst of the Vermillion is that it's not actually black, it's dark red. The Vermillion has this unique dark aesthetic to it. Come on, it looks like a guitar that a vampire would play. A AAA flame maple top in bloody red combined with the red back and some dark accents like the black top hats. Black open coil Audio-Technica 2 pickups with black pickup rings and a black tip switch. Doesn't complete the dark aesthetics with ebony fingerboard, but I would be surprised if it did because Slash prefers rosewood. It's not the darkest rosewood available, but it goes well with the red finish. When I first saw the Gibson Slash collection being introduced back in 2020, these 2 finishes stood out to me immediately. The Vermillion Burst and the Anaconda Burst. I had the pleasure of reviewing both the Epiphone Vermillion and Anaconda Bursts, but they feel quite different. You can watch their video reviews and I can tell you they're great value for money, but they're not the Gibson. I mean, sure, the Appetite Burst and the November are the one that most people would want, but I think the Vermillion and the Anaconda are the coolest. Then there's Jessica and Victoria. Right now, the Vermillion is not hard to find, but I think it's gonna be appreciated more and more with time, especially because it's a limited run only for 2020. I'm super happy that I was able to find one and demonstrate for you guys, and now I'm gonna give you the specs on screen, starting with the body and neck specification. Of course, AAA flame maple top on a mahogany body, solid mahogany, 50s vintage C-shaped chunky neck, ABR1 tunematic bridge, and the pickups are the custom Burstbucker Audio-Technica 2. All of this retailed for $3,000 and can be found for that price. So this guitar is in a good shape. I'm not gonna do much to it, I'm just gonna oil the fingerboard and polish the frets. Here's what's under the pickups. That red paint is everywhere. I was hoping to get a glimpse at that AAA flame maple top, but you can at least see the separation line with the mahogany body. So this is a 2-piece AAA flame maple top on a solid mahogany body, routed for the electronics, starting from the 3-way switch, the pickup, cables, the Gavit conductor wire, going back to the electronics. LPS, meaning Les Paul Standard / 00, probably 2000. Rhythm Custom Burstbucker Audio-Technica 2. This was made in the 8th month of 2020. August the 6th, patent apply for sticker or PAF. Slanted, black pickup ring, open. It is a set, so we should have the same lead Burstbucker Custom Audio-Technica 2, made a day earlier than the neck. A slanted, black pickup ring, short screws for the front, long for the back. I like the dark aesthetic that the Vermillion has with this burst, the black switch, the black top hats. Only the bridge and the tuners are not black, but you can easily swap them out. As I mentioned, the black tip switch, the black pickup rings and the screws for them are black. 1182k ohms for the bridge Audio-Technica 2 pickup. Switching over to the neck, softer at 839, middle position 491. The bridge pickup is surprisingly hot. The bridge is the ABR1 tunematic with struts that go into the body and individual saddles, Gibson ABR1 marked on the bottom, and it weighs around 60 grams. The ABR has individual saddles. I took 2 of them out and they are marked. This one is for the A string, this one is for the E string. The rest of them are as it follows for the E tuning. Here's an interesting fact. For 2020, Gibson was using this ABR1 bridge, but for 2021, they switched to the ABR1 that is adjusted by an Allen wrench as well, not only by the thumb wheel. It is a convenience, as I found out when I was trying to adjust the height of the strings for the Vermillion, but I prefer the old style. The tailpiece is extremely lightweight aluminum. I think it's around 30 grams, and I'm not gonna remove the strings because these are brand new elixirs. Here's a better top-down look at the gorgeous AAA flame maple top that is bound by a single ply cream binding. Set neck construction, one piece 50 style mahogany neck, cream binding, black side dot inlays and fret nibs. Beautiful rosewood fingerboard, medium jumbo frets, trapezoid acrylic inlays. And upon closer inspection you can immediately notice that the 7th fret is a bit yellower than the rest of them. I kinda like this, it's sort of an accent, and this is a Graphtec nut. The usual for the headstock, a black veneer Les Paul model in gold silkscreen, the vintage Keystone Gibson tuners, the Gibson mother of pearl with the dotted eye logo. And this is what the truss rod cavity looks like with the nut in there. As with most Slash signature guitars, you have two options to cover the truss rod. This is the Slash signature cover, 2-ply, 2 screws, and included in the case you have the blank one without the Slash signature. The nut is 43.4mm wide or 1.70 inch. The 12th fret is at 52.8mm or 2.07 inches. Thickness of the first fret 22.4mm or 0.88 inch. As expected, a massive 12th fret at almost an inch, 25.3mm. Spacing between the pickups as expected for a Les Paul, 60mm or 2.36 inches. A full body thickness of almost 2 inches, again as expected for a solid body Les Paul standard. Everything is a standard so far, so is the 12-inch radius and 24.75-inch scale length. Here's what the massive 50s style C-shaped slash profile of the neck looks like. Back of the guitar is made of a single piece solid mahogany, no weight relief, and this is a heavy one as you will see later in the video. Here's what the cavity for the 3-way switch looks like. It's bent a bit because of the curvature of the top. And here's the electronics. It is beautifully hand wired with 500K Gibson pots and orange drop capacitors. Here's another look with the output jack routing. USA standard guitars come with this plastic cover for the 3-way switch and plastic cover for the electronics, no shielding on the back. The screws for them are chrome though, they're not black. Black plate for the output jack, and in the website they don't specify Grover or Schaller. These look like Schallers. This is the only issue that this particular Vermillion has, a bump that it's all the way to the paint. It's on the best place possible though, on a back edge, and you can notice it. Another Schaller here. Here is the bump on another angle. The nitro and the paint are gone. Here's the back of that massive 50s neck. It is comfortable though with that C-shaped profile. It is high gloss, has some nice figure into it. And on the base of the headstock we have the signature Scully logo for Slash. Keystone Vintage Deluxe Gibson tuners, made in USA, and the serial number reads 219300142. The first and the fifth number being the year 2020. Now check this out, the Vermillion is on the heavy side of things for a Les Paul standard at 9.76 pounds, and the AFD is a pound lighter at 8.67. Quite the difference. There are some differences in the cases for 2020 and 2021. The Vermillion case has this like shiny gold latches. These are satin finished and thicker leather handle for the AFD. And on the inside you can see that the Vermillion is a perfect fit. Now check out the next year cases, and I think all of the models up to 2024 are so far are like this. It's not a perfect fit, the guitar rattles inside. Here's the Vermillion case. It has 1, 2, this one locks, 3, 4, and one in the back, 5 latches. Beautiful Gibson gold logo, sturdy leather handle, a bit scuffed on this one though, but it works, it's okay. And this sort of a in-between red and violet lining inside. The accessories compartment with the leather Gibson handle holds the strap and the accessories that come with this guitar, and the key for the case. It was made in, it's hard to see, but I think, yep, it's China. A lot of case candy and documentation. It's the same on the AFD. You have the Gibson multi-tool that doesn't work with the truss rod of the Gibson. We have the Gibson cloth with the logo. A set of signature Slash picks. He uses Tortex, various colors of these. A genuine leather Gibson strap. It is thin, it is cheap, but it's free, so it's okay. The Gibson logo is in gold. And look at that, the baby photo. I'm so mad they stopped including these after 2023, I think. And I love seeing this guitar on the workbench in the Gibson factory. And what is this truss rod cover from? Here's the Gibson owner's manual. You see them included with every Gibson guitar. It should have the Flying V and the Les Paul, yep, in here. And this is the pre-pack checklist. We're gonna go through this in a minute. We have the serial number here and the inspected by, packed by signatures. We open it up. Let me do this one-handed. And you should have the checklist marked in every step of the way of creating the Vermillion. Here it is. On the other side, we have some information in various languages. And that's it. Now, that's the truss rod cover, the blank one that is included with the guitar. It was originally on the guitar. I've swapped it with the Slash signature one. And if you don't want to scratch your precious Vermillion finish, you can use the included pickguard. here's the thing about Gibson, and here's why I love them. These two guitars are supposed to be the same, the Vermillion and the Appetite Burst. And on paper they are, but when you try them out, when you inspect them closely, they are not. That's the thing about Gibson guitars, their curse and their blessing. They are always different. All of the guitars have something to them. Each guitar is unique. In this particular example, you saw that the Vermillion is much heavier than the Appetite Burst, almost a pound heavier. It has a bit less of a high end to it. Maybe that's because of the strings though. I used elixirs on the Vermillion and Ernie Bow on the Appetite, but still you can feel it. A good friend of mine and a collector, I'm talking about you George, told me recently, come on man, you're just reviewing Les Paul after Les Paul. Well, I love them. I love them, you love them too, you son of a bitch, come on. On to the point, I loved the Vermillion Burst, it felt amazing, it felt like a high quality Les Paul standard, and to be honest, I don't know if I prefer it over the Appetite Burst, but I definitely like it as an addition to a collection. If I have the Appetite or the November, I would definitely get the Anaconda or the Vermillion. That's what this guitar feels like, an addition to a collection. It's like if you had the Appetite, if you had the November, if you had the mainstream, if you can call them mainstream guitars, you want something different. And the Vermillion is just that, a unique finish. Luckily you can still find them and close to the retail price, but I think that's gonna change over time.